Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to an unboxing for Marvel Champions Hero Pack. This is for Valkyrie, Brunhild of the Valkyrie. So tied in with Thor. So this hero deck, we get a 60 card pre-built deck. First you get 31 new cards, to the added of the new aspect, and we get to fight the Enchantress. So let's look at this stuff. So of course we're gonna get the fold out poster, which is the cover art. Pretty decent, you know. And then a little bit of detail on her. Yeah, just so if you didn't know, it's Brunhild is her name. Her name's not Valkyrie. That's just like her superhero name essentially. Even though here it says she leads the Valkyrie, also known as the Valkyrie, depending on which era you're reading the comics in. Basically, she was part of that, which the Valkyrie are, if you're not familiar with, you know, the regular lore, I guess, and the comic book lore, is essentially it's a group of female warriors, generally, that lead the Asgardian dead to the afterlife. So they go on the field. They're warriors, they'll help fight in battles and stuff too, but they usher the dead to Valhalla. So like if a Asgardian warrior falls, they take their body to Valhalla, where they can, you know, like, which is like essentially like their type of heaven, where they can, you know, live in like glory, you know, versus getting sucked into the underworld. So that's essentially what their role is. But she joined the Avengers for a long time, and if you're reading current-ish comics, depending on when you watch this and what time it is that Brunhild has actually died in the comics during the War of the Realms, and Jane Foster took over as the new Valkyrie. I don't know how long that'll last. It'll probably get undone at some point. But, of course, we have some extra keywords in here. We have Alliance, which is the new one that's been popping up. Allows other players to help pay a cost for a card. And then we have Hinder X, which places X threat on a card. And then Valkyrie is going to get aggression, similar to Thor. So she probably combine or pair up with Thor very well. Then we'll look at her actual abilities and read that as we go through her card. So let's start off with Valkyrie herself. Her superhero form. So hand size of 5, hit points of 12, 1 fort, 2 attack, 1 defense. Makes sense, she's a warrior. Asgard Avenger, so I believe this should be our only second Asgardian main character, Thor. I don't think any other characters had that trait yet. I can think of. The only other one I think of they would have made would have been Loki. But they haven't done that. She says Death Perception. Hero action. Play the set-aside Death Glow upgrade as if it were in your hand. I am the chooser of the slaying. So her deck is going to be based around this Death Glow card. So we'll look at that in just a moment. We're going to flip her over to her alter ego, Brunhild, who has 4 recovery, which is pretty good. Just Asgard. So set up the Death Glow upgrade. So start the game, you set the Death Glow upgrade outside of play. And it says, not this day in action. Detach Death Glow and set it aside out of play. So essentially it starts out. So let's just look at it quick. Then we can kind of look at what her abilities for that does. So here's Death Glow. It's an upgrade, costs 1. It's a condition. It says attached to an enemy. Forced interrupt. When the attached enemy is defeated, set this card aside outside of play. If Valkyrie defeated that enemy, ready her. And so what this does is she basically lets her essentially target characters. She can put this Death Glow on a person, defeat them, and then she just get attacked again. So she can keep going in battle as long as she can keep doing stuff with this Death Glow. So when you start with her beginning of the game, it starts outside of play. And then what you can do is when you flip over, you can play it as if it were in your hand. You still gotta pay your 1 cost, but it's out as long as they're in hero mode. It's sitting outside of play, ready to go. So if you defeat an enemy, it goes outside of play. You can play it again if you have the cost, and she's ready, she can attack again. You can keep doing that as long as you can keep paying for it and keep defeating enemies. So she could take out several possible minions in one turn, which is really fun. If not, at least nothing else, if somebody else defeats it, it's going to sit outside of play and ready to go. And then that's sort of why she has on her alter ego form, deattach Death Glow and set it aside. So you could go ahead and set it aside and have it ready to go, so in case maybe you have it attached to some minor minion that you're not going to take care of, or you're not going to deal with because maybe somebody else is going to, or there's a bigger threat that came up, or maybe you have someone attached to you that you have to take care of, like they have guard or whatever. So you could, alter ego form, remove it, flip her over to her hero form during your turn, and then you can play on that new guy and then take them out. So it's actually a fun little mechanic. You can play around with that. Alright, so let's look at what other cards she's going to have to help her out with all this. She has Annabelle Riggs as an ally. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 health. So, a civilian, regular human. Alter ego action. Exhaust Annabelle Riggs. Search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Valkyrie card, add it to your hand, shuffle the rest back into your deck. I've got friends on Earth who could use some help. So it's actually pretty cool. When you're alter ego, you can search your deck for cards you need. So that way, again, you're targeting your Death Glow minion or enemy, because it could be a villain too. And be ready to attack again, or a nemesis or whoever. Yeah, she'll help you prep cards you need. So additional card that would help out is Valhalla. 2 cost support, Asgard location. Says response. After Valkyrie attacks and defeats an enemy that has Death Glow attached, exhaust Valhalla. Draw 1 card and heal 1 damage from Valkyrie. So if you have this out, not only do you get to draw a card and heal and be ready to go again. So that way, hey, I'm ready to play. You can play another attack card, or you can play, or prep for defense if you need to. Because you're ready to go, but you've healed a point of damage. Maybe you had retaliate. Who knows? So definitely helpful there. And then she's going to get some upgrades. Valkyrie Spear. 1 cost. Asgard weapon. Restricted. Valkyrie gets +1 defense. Plus 2 defense instead while defending against the enemy with Death Glow attached. So there's another thing. Maybe use her as a defense character. We can only boost your defense up to 3 if against a Death Glow character, but it might be worth figuring out who you need to attach it to for that reason. And then Dragon Fang, 1 cost upgrade, Asgard weapon. So far, cards don't cost a ton. +1 attack, +2 instead against an enemy with Death Glow attached. Dragon Fang strikes swiftly and deep. You might be wise to surrender. So she gets, if you want to attack or you want to defend, definite help there. Another upgrade, Aragorn. This is her Pegasus. Asgard creature. Valkyrie gets +4 hit points and gains the aerial trait. Fearless beast. If by his life or death he can save us, he will. Yeah, so it's helpful. Aerial plays into a lot of other characters' cards and does stuff like that, so that can definitely be helpful. We are going to get 2 copies of Flight of the Valkyrie. 2 cost upgrades. This is response. After the enemy with Death Glow is defeated, discard Flight of the Valkyrie. Remove 5 threat from Esteem. Valkyrie can carry the spirits of fallen warriors to Valhalla if they be worthy. So this definitely works. Like, she's not really the schemer or the thwarter. Rather, the thwarter, not the schemer. But this will help her remove a bunch. But she has to specifically target. You have to have that Death Glow, and then you have to defeat someone. But yeah, that can definitely be helpful, right? Plus, this is an upgrade, so once you play it, it can just sit out and wait for you to do that. So that's also helpful. Alright, then we're going to get some events. She has Visit Valhalla. This is a 0 cost free one. Alter ego action. Return a Valkyrie card in your discard pile to your hand. So since she deals with the dead, she just get free cards from your graveyard, essentially, which is pretty nice. As one of the Valkyrie can open a portal to Valhalla whenever she wishes. So that's helpful. You can get back your Annabelle Riggs or your, Valhalla, or one of your Ride of the Valkyrie if you need to keep using that. She gets 2 copies of Chooser of the Slain, another 0 cost. Hero action. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion. Put it into play and engage with you. Draw 2 cards. Your time has come. Die with honor. Works really great because, again, she gains bonuses for taking guys out. Either Ride of the Valkyrie with the extra 5 threat removal, or you'll be able to ready herself to attack again or heal. She now begins searching encounter and discard pile for a minion. You can choose literally who you want to take out. So if you're like, I need a quick 5 steam taken off, choose a weak guy. You're like, maybe I have a bunch of powered cards. Choose someone that's going to be hefty that you might not want to deal with randomly later. Pull them out, take them out that turn. So it's kind of a good combo there. 2 copies of the Shield Maiden, which are also what Valkyrie are known. They're kind of the Shield Maiden to Odin. Rather, they're almost Shield Maiden to Freya, I believe. They're kind of like Freya's troops, where like Thor and the warriors are Odin's troops. I think that's sort of how it plays out, if I remember right. So we have 1 cost event. So Hero Interrupt. When the enemy attacks with a death glow, attacks, declare Valkyrie the defender without exhausting her. She gains +2 defense for this attack. So that's awesome. She can just jump in and stop whoever. So again, she can pinpoint the threat she needs to take care of. Weak guy, she can take him out, attack again. Bigger guy, she can get extra defense or extra attack or extra blocking. She definitely has options to put her where she needs to be. And the last card in her set is 3 copies of Have At Thee. 3 cost events. That's her most expensive card. I feel bad for this one Hydra agent. Says attack. Deal 7 damage to an enemy. If that enemy has death glow, this attack gains overkill. So yeah, 7. You take out a small minion, you can direct it right towards the boss for free. So hit a Hydra agent, for Hydra minion for 7 damage. They have 3 health or whatever, 2 health. 2 health, you take that 5 right to, you ready your character and you take that 5 right to the main villain. Awesome. Then you get to do a bunch of, you can keep attacking. So yeah, she has a fun little mechanic with that death glow that keeps bouncing back and forth. So once it's used up one way or the other, it gets put back, or you can put it back and pay for it. And since most of our cards are 1 cost, 1 or 0 cost, having to replay that multiple times in a turn isn't going to be super difficult. And since you can keep recycling a bunch of your cards, I have to throw away one of my 3 cost cards for right now, so I can play this. Fine, recycle it later. Then you have to wait for your deck to recycle. So that's awesome too. All right, she's gonna have aggression. So our aggression allies are gonna be Thor Odinson, 3 cost ally, 1 fort, 3 attack with 2 hits on him there. He only's got 3 health, which is seems kind of low, but I guess I'd rather have him with 3 cost and 3 health than being like a 6 cost with 6 health, because then you can get him into play more often. Says Asgardian Avenger, comes in with toughness. So interrupt. When Thor attacks a minion engaged with a player, spend an energy resource. Resolve this attack against each minion engaged with that player in order of your choice. So yeah, he's going to hit for 3. But basically going to put him to the point where he's going to be defeated. Although he has toughness, so he can survive 1 extra hit. But it kind of works, mimics the playable Thor, where he's trying to take out minions, and it works really well with Valkyrie, who wants to take out minions as well. So that's awesome. Then we also got Puddle Gup. So typically, usually, if it's outside of leadership, you only get like one ally, since they don't want to get too many allies into the other colors, since there's restrictions on them. Which I think they put more in here because they don't expect the Asgardians to stay on the field for long. They come in, they hit, they strike, and then they leave. And I think that's why they put more in here. Because now we got Throg, who's Puddle Gup. So 2 cost, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 health. Asgard and a Guardian character, so he'll work with the Guardians if you want to play mix him with those. After Throg enters play, give him a tough status card if you are engaged with a minion. There we go. So enters play, you can gain a tough card and you can survive a little bit longer. And then we actually get a third one. We get Angela. Aldrich, Odin's daughter. She costs 0, has 0 thwart, and 2 attack and 3 health. So she's just into attack, which makes sense for Angela. So she's an Asgard and a Guardian as well, so she can dual deck there. Force response. After Angela enters play under your control, search the top 10 cards of the encounter deck for a minion. Put it into play, engage with you. Shuffle the encounter deck. If the minion is not put into play, this way discard Angela. So she's gonna, again, kind of like Valkyrie, seek out a specific character to take out. Whether it's you want to take out a weak character that, just get it out of the way, or if you want to pull out a higher cost guy that you can deal with at that time. It's definitely a fun thing to do. Alright, so then we're also going to get another location of the Hall of Heroes, which I believe this is also in Thor's deck. Asgard location. Response: after you defeat a minion, place 1 glory counter hero. Alter Ego action. Exhaust Hall of Heroes. Remove 3 glory counters from it to draw 3 cards. So that shouldn't be too terribly hard to do. Going to get 2 copies of Combat Training, which you've seen before. It's an upgrade skill. Play under any player's control. Max 1 per player. Hero gets 1 attack. Nothing wrong with that. Extra attack is definitely helpful. Alright, brand new card for this set. 3 copies of Quick Strike. 2 cost event. Attack. Hero action, deal damage to an enemy equal to your attack. So just straight up, for Valkyrie it would be just generally 2 damage. But if you have some of your other stuff equipped, you can definitely up that a little bit higher. Or if you just play this and you do your 2 attack, defeat an enemy at death goal, then you're not wasting her exhaust action to attack her. So that's also helpful. 3 copies of Smash the Problem, another new card. 1 cost event, which is a thwart. Hero action, exhaust your hero, remove threat from the scheme equal to your hero's attack. Again, works really well with them attacking cards, especially with aggression characters. Gives them another way to thwart, but in their own way. Thwarting through brute strength versus, I guess whatever opposite of that would be, wherever you use the goose. Yeah, it's helpful. And then we have 3 copies of the Best Defense, so another new card. 0 cost event. Defense, hero interrupt. When your hero defends against an attack, you attack instead of its defense for this attack. So again, that would work really great with Valkyrie, who has 2 attack instead. Other aggression characters like Hulk and Thor would also benefit from a card like this. Got the Guardians on there, which is really fun. Alright, so we got a couple more aggression cards. We have Audacity. So this is kind of new. It's only 1 per deck. It was also in the Mad Titans campaign with Adam Warlock. He had 1 of each of these different special resources that they've then doled out over the last couple of hero packs. So like all the ones that last few that had come out. That way, in case you didn't buy the campaign pack, and you just bought hero packs, people would at least have another way to access these. Or get another copy if you want to a little bit cheaper. So we have Audacity, max 1 per deck. Hero response. After you spend this card, deal 1 damage to a villain. So just a 3 point of damage. But it can help weaken them up just enough. Doesn't hurt. And it's a free, you're gonna spend a card per resource and you get 1 damage. Especially a wild, nothing wrong with that. And we also got 2 copies of the Power of Aggression. So another resource, double the number of resources this generates while paying for aggression cards. So I just help you get lots of them for a little bit cheaper. Alright, then we're going to look at our basics. So a brand new one, we have the Bifrost. Asgard location. Play only if your identity has the Asgard trait. So this is, there's a couple cards in her set that have this, which is cool, but again, right now it's her and Thor. So until they release some more characters, these are very limited in what decks they can go in. But, you know, it's fine. Hopefully that means they're going to release more characters. Exhaust. Exhaust the Bifrost. Search your deck for an Asgard ally and play it. Paying its cost. Shuffle your deck. Great way to get out them other cards. Thor, you know, Throg, or Angela if you need one for free. Boom, you just pull her out for free. Hopefully you get an encounter so she stays out. So we got 1 copy of that. We got 3 copies of Godlike Strength. Or Godlike Stamina, sorry. 0 cost event. Play only if your identity has Asgard. Action, heal 2 damage from your identity. You may discard a status card from your identity. So you can get rid of Confuse or Stun. I guess you can get rid of Toughness if you want, but I don't know why you would. I like to show off Jane Foster. Except that looks more like Gwen Stacy. Maybe it's just because of the black headband and the green coat and the blonde hair, which are trademark old Gwen Stacy looks. But I could be wrong. Alright, then we're going to get our 3 generic resource cards. So that'll be our basic stuff. Alright, then we are going to have our obligation. So, Trouble in Otherworld. Give to the Brunhild player. Valkyrie cannot attack enemies with the Death Glow attached. Alter Ego action. Spend a tech, or a genius and a energy resource. Remove Trouble in the Otherworld from the game. Yeah, so it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't prevent her from taking a turn. I like that, because that's what lots of these obligations do. They basically force you to skip a turn. Like using your character for anything, or you can flip them over to just like have to come along this later. This one's gonna stick out until you get rid of it, which could suck because if you can't pay them costs right away, you might be stuck with this for a while. But it doesn't prevent her from doing other stuff. It disrupts your entire plans of attacking or using the Death Glow, but you can still do other things. You can still attack the villain. You can attack other things. You can steam if you need to. So yeah, it's not as bad as it could have been. Then she has her nemesis. She's going to have the Enchantress. I was actually quite surprised to see this, because this is the first set that, because this came out not terribly long after Mad Titan, which Enchantress is one of the encounter sets in there. So it's kind of interesting to see her as an encounter villain, and then just a few sets later, we gotta see her as a nemesis. Not that they haven't had crossovers like that before, or won't in the future, won't again, but it's just odd it was so close. We have an Asgard Elite, 2 steaming, 1 attack, 5 health. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile and the set aside area for a copy of Seduced and attach it to your identity. Shuffle. So she uses a lot of the same cards she used in her encounter, which are actually kind of cool. Which is why I brought that up. She has powerful enchantments. Behind Amora's charm lies the cruel ambition and power to subdue those in her way. Hinder 1 per player. Players cannot discard attachments that are attached to friendly characters. So you can't get rid of ones that are attached to helpful people, so you have to deal with it on your own. Or get rid of this card as soon as you can. Alright, then we'll have her attachment. She has Beguiled. Treat attached ally as an enthralled minion with its blank text box. Attached minion steam is equal to the printed thwart, and it does not take consequential damage. When revealed, attach to the ally with the highest cost without Beguiled attached to it. Attached ally attached ally engages its controller. Otherwise, this card gains surge. So basically turns one of your allies against you. I mean, they could have tried to make it even more thematic and had to be a male character. But being as there's no traits on any of these cards to say if a character is a male or a female, that would have made it more confusing to do. Because then, then you would have to look at the artwork and like, I mean, most of them are fairly easy to judge. But, it's just easier to keep it simple. Now we got 2 copies of Seduced, which are the ones we gotta look for. Attach your identity. You cannot make basic attacks or play attack events. Alter ego action. Spend a tech or a genius and a energy resource. Discard. So now this is almost worse than her own obligation because it prevents you from doing any attacks. At least the other one just stops you from attacking Deathglow, which disrupts your plans, but it doesn't prevent you from doing other stuff. This stops you from attacking at all. So that means you can only scheme, until you can find them cards. So that's kind of interesting there. Alright, so there's our full list of cards. Alright, and then the last thing we will look at for the Valkyrie deck will be the brand new aspect cards. We get 3 copies of a Justice card, Problem Solvers. Thwart Alliance, so multiple people can pay for it, which is good because it costs 4. Exhausting Avenger character and a Guardian character. Remove X threat from each scheme where X is equal to the combined thwart of those characters. And we do have some Valkyrie and Thor in this set being Avengers, and Throg and Angela being Guardians. We have some of each of those. So although you can't mix the yellow and the aggression characters with the Justice, but let Valkyrie help out the Guardians if she needs to, or if you're playing with somebody else, someone else has shoved this in their Justice deck, you can use it. So you get 2 copies of Leadership Training. We only get 2 instead of 3 because it's a max 2 per deck. Uses 2 training counters. Alter Ego action. Exhaust this card and remove 1 training counter from it. Choose a Leadership blue event in your discard pile and shuffle it into your deck. So quick recycling of a card you might need. Doesn't put it back into your hand or on top of your deck, so you don't get it right away. But at least it gives it back to you and you can use it twice. 3 copies of the Protection card, Anticipation, your 1-cost upgrade. Preparation, max 1 per player. Hero Interrupt, when you engage a minion, discard this card, ready your hero. So actually works like a limited version of her Deathglow, which is kind of fun because it gets to use it, but then it's gone. Where she can keep reusing Deathglow, they get at least a one-time version of that. And then finally, we have 3 copies of the basic Cosmic Alliance, which is a 3-cost event. And it has Alliance. Players can both pay for this cost. Choosing an Avenger character and a Guardian character, ready each of those characters. So you see with this one and that Justice one, they started doing a lot of stuff in the last few sets. After all the Guardians were through, by the time Mad Titans came out, they had a Guardian and a Avenger main character in there. They released a lot of characters that had abilities that did these Alliance cards and utilized both. Try to give you a reason to mix and match Avengers with Guardians, because lots of Guardians have Guardian effects and Avengers have Avengers effects. Same way Valkyrie having Asgard has Asgard effects. So they try to give you a reason to play those together. So, alright, that is all of our cards. Valkyrie looks really fun. Different mechanics. So she works as a powerhouse. So you want to have definitely some healing support for her. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.